Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome. All right. So, I'm gonna wait a couple minutes to see if how many of y'all hop on, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And thank you for ahead of time for bearing with me. It's super late on a Thursday night, and terrible timing on my part. Scheduling this for the return of Shondaland, and thank goodness it's Thursday. Hey everyone, hey Lacey, hey Becky. Oh, I'm so glad y'all are here. Okay, so take a second as we're waiting for people, just say hey, let me know y'all can hear me, and let me know you're here. Hey Sarah, hey Sarah. Hey Christy. Hope y'all are having a good day. Hope everyone's having a good night. Take just a couple more seconds to let people hop on, and we're just going to talk a little bit about what is coaching, and I'm going to talk to you about my hey girl. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my story and how I got into coaching. Oh, hey, Lacey. You're so sweet. Okay. Hey, Christy. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to talk to you, like I just said, a little bit about what coaching is and really about my story and how I got into coaching and what brought me here and what keeps me here and why I love it so much. So my Beachbody story and journey kind of started around the time that I got engaged and we were planning for our wedding. And it started with P90X, and my husband, my mom, and I all decided we were going to do P90X together. And we borrowed it from a friend who had it. And at the time, I didn't know that coaching was a thing. I didn't know anything about it. I knew a little bit about Beachbody, but not a whole lot. Just that, there were fitness programs, and that was about all that I knew. So we did P90X. We got up every morning at 5:30 before work. Hey, Tara. And we did our workouts, and that was about all it was for me at the time. And so over the years, I then, my husband and I, we did Insanity and Insanity Asylum and dabbled with a lot of programs, but never really did one start to finish. We just didn't, the momentum, the fire, when you first start a program is you're really on a high, and then you come down and you lose the momentum. And so fast forward to about, probably about when we started to think about having kids. I really knew that I wanted to be home with them, and so eventually wanted to be home with my babies. And so I started to brainstorm ways for me to be home once we started to have kids. And so I decided that I was going to open a photography business. And so I was really excited about it. I had this super passion for taking pictures and being behind the camera. And so I started to build this business, right? And I really loved it. And then along the way, I kind of started to lose a little bit of that fire that I once had for it. And so once we had our son, he's 15 months old now, we had our son, and I took a little bit of a maternity leave, and I found myself when I was starting to have to go back. He was born in October, and I gave myself until the new year to take my maternity leave, and then I was gonna have to start booking things and going back to work. And I got to that point where I was getting ready to have to go back, and I just couldn't do it. I didn't have that fire. I was going to be home with him, yes, during the day. It only took a couple hours to go do a session, but I felt like I was going to be primarily behind the computer all day, and I would, not be spending that quality time where I'm present with him like I wanted to. And so I started to explore different avenues of things that I could do to still be home. And so I had started following my coach, my mentor at the time, and I thought, wow, what is she doing? How is she doing this? And I love seeing her story. I love hearing her story. We were very similar in our stories. We, were just wanting to be home with our babies, right? And so I started asking questions, and for months I followed her, and I thought, gosh, I gotta learn more about this, right? And so I would reach out and I'd learn a little bit, and I thought, oh, no, it's not for me. It's not for me. I don't have experience. I don't know what I'm talking about. How am I going to encourage people and inspire people to live a healthy lifestyle? I don't have a degree. I don't have any of these credentials, right? And so how am I going to do that? And so I just felt really stuck and in a place where I was really kind of sad all the time. I was happy being a new mama and I loved being with my baby, but there was something about me that I was having a really hard time with, and something I couldn't talk about out loud because I was kind of ashamed of, how I was feeling. And I, even with my husband, I felt a little bit scared to talk to him about, not wanting to go back to work, not wanting to continue with my business. And, because I thought he's going to think, well, what the heck are we going to do? You have to go back to work. And so, one day I was sitting outside my son's room, listening to him, cry, and he was having a hard time putting himself to sleep. And I thought in that moment, I have to do something where I can be home with him, and I don't want someone else to be here with him while he's trying to cry himself to sleep. And I want to be that person. So going back to work, even if it was being outside of the home for a handful of hours here and there, if it wasn't up to my discretion, I just couldn't do it. And so I reached back out to my coach. And at the time I was still dabbling with do I start, I'm very crafty and very DIY. And so do I start an Etsy shop? Do I do all of these things? And nothing solidified itself, and nothing really stuck to my heart. And so when I was sitting outside the room, and I thought, I'm going to reach back out to this mentor of mine. And so I reached back out to her, and I said, you know what? I need a little bit more information. Anything you can give me, I am all ears. And so she said, absolutely. And we talked for a little bit, and I said, I'm going to talk to my husband. And I remember exactly where we were sitting, the exact day it was. And him and I sat down, and I very fearfully brought it up to him. And we talked about it for a few hours. We did our research, and before we were done, I was saying, I'm all in. I'm in. And so I started my journey officially as a coach with the program 22-Minute Hardcore. And 22 minutes a day, and I jumped in head first and completely ran with the opportunity, because for me it was, this is what I was going to do to be able to be home with my babies, and my baby and my soon to be babies in the future. So it was a big deal to me, right? And so thanks for all the love, you guys. That was in the beginning of April. So I started my journey in the beginning of April. It was about 10 months ago. And I have never looked back. I have done several programs. I have never, before I started, done a program start to finish until I started coaching. And my first program, 22-Minute Hardcore, I started it. It was 60 days, and I showed up every single day. I was consistent, and I saw results. And to me, that was huge, because it was it was me telling myself that, I was a part of something that really held me accountable. This community is, oh, it's incredible. I can't even put it into words, that I've never experienced anything quite like it. And I'm so thankful, because honestly, I don't know where I would have been if I hadn't said yes to this opportunity. I can't even, it scares me more to think about where I would have been had I said no and turned and walked away, than facing the fears and the objections that I had jumping in. And so I am forever thankful for this community that has held me up and supported me, and stood behind me and rallied behind me, because it's incredible. So that's my story, and like I said, I've never looked back, and I'm super, super thankful. So what we do as coaches, what my job is day in and day out. So a big part of what we do is living out our own health and fitness journey, right? And so that means showing up every day, being consistent in our workouts, living a healthy lifestyle, creating a lifestyle for ourselves, for our families, and showing people that that's doable for you and everyone else. And so this being one of my objections, is that before I started coaching, was, how the heck am I gonna tell people to, do this or do that, or what kind of workouts to do, and that sort of thing. But really what it is just showing up and telling your story, and being present and available when people need a little extra support and extra motivation. And so I really soon after I started coaching, became so comfortable, because I learned that I had something to offer, and what I was offering was valuable. So just showing up, being consistent, sharing your story, that's the biggest part of what we do. And so another part of that is, while we're working on our health and our fitness, is working on our mind and our soul. And so a big part of that is PD, personal development, where we're really working on areas of our life that maybe we might be struggling with a little bit, so that we can better help everyone around us. And that makes us better. Not only is our health important to creating this lifestyle for ourselves and our families, but so is how we feel about ourselves in our thoughts, and the way we think about our days and ourselves and our surroundings. So that's a huge part of what we do, and that could that ranges from whatever it is in that season of your life that you're dealing with, that you need a little bit of extra encouragement in that area. Major part of what we do, and I rave about my groups all the time, are challenge groups. I call mine accountability groups, because that's really what it is being there and holding each other accountable. So what we do is we make ourselves available for ladies or gentlemen who want to start living out their own health and fitness journeys. And we provide a safe and supportive and encouraging platform for all of those people to come and feel comfortable sharing their journeys, and starting to live out their own health and fitness journeys. And so that's a major part of what I do. And I'll tell you what, this group that I'm running, these ladies rock my world every day, and they have really become an extension of my family, and they're my girls. And they blow my mind with their consistency, and their encouragement, and their kind words, and their hearts are just so pure. And we talk about all the time how this process is a heck of a lot more than just what you see on the scale, or how working out every day and sweating, and it's so much more than that. It's about how you feel on the inside and all the changes you're making on the inside, and all of your non-scale victories, how you're coming across to other people. Do you have more confidence? Do you feel better? Do you do your clothes fit better? And so this group is so much more than just the physical. It's so important, equally important about the way we feel and how we see ourselves and how we feel in our own skin. So I, on so many occasions, have been so touched by the ladies that are in my group, and trust me, even more than just in the fitness world, they have rallied behind me and each other on days where we're just kind of like having tough days. And that's what this whole community is about. It's about support and love and kindness. I stress kindness so much because we all need, a little more kind in our hearts and our world, and we all need a little bit of extra encouragement. So that's a huge part of my group, and these groups are so great for encouragement and love. So that is, in a nutshell, a large nutshell, what we do as coaches, as a coaching community. Now, some have asked me, like, what does a good coach look like, right? And so, like I was saying, I don't have any right to tell people what to do or how to do it. I'm not a professional, but that's the beauty of it, is that all it really takes is a willingness to change and to really be working on yourself and to show up every day and be consistent and really have a heart for helping other people, a heart for paying it forward, for taking what you're doing with yourself and what you're learning and paying it forward, right? And so that's what a good coach looks like. It's not, you don't need a degree. We provide all trainings. There's no, you don't need, we're coaches, we're there for encouragement. We're not nutritionists, we're not trainers. We have those, we have those people for those purposes, but we're just there to encourage people and to share our journey. And that's the biggest part, is just sharing what you're doing and being vulnerable and transparent. And that was a really hard thing for me at first, being vulnerable and very transparent, because I was not about sharing anything that would happen in my life on social media. I was very, I always kept to myself. I didn't like to share a whole lot. And once I realized that I was doing it for a purpose, and that as long as I was adding value to what I was saying, that was important, and it really meant something, and as long as I was honest, that could really help someone. And so, like, perfect example. So yesterday, I always try and be positive and put a positive spin on it. We all need a little bit more of that in our lives and in our days and in our news feeds, right? And so I always try to be really positive, but yesterday was just probably the worst mama day I ever had. And it literally was the worst mama day I ever had. And I just could not find the happy, right? And so I was just super honest and super transparent with how I was feeling and what was happening in my day, and just kind of shared my heart. And that's what it's about, is trying to connect with people, because we're all human and we're not perfect, and days are hard, and it's okay if we have hard days, and it's okay if everything's not picture perfect, because that's just life, right? And so there is no perfect coach. There's no good looking coach. It's just you being you and being honest and being positive. And then the lights went out. Hold on, let me go. They're on a timer. Hold on. Sorry about that. and it's kind of cold in here, so I've got my blanket. And it's just about being yourself and being honest and sharing who you are and what you're doing and how you want to help people, and paying it forward. And that's what it's all about, right? And so, and I think that when you do that, because one of my other objections about coaching was that I'm not a salesperson, and I've never been, I will never be. And so that was what was one of the reasons why it took me so long to say yes to this opportunity, because that's just not me. But when you're sharing your journey, and when you're being vulnerable, and when you're being honest and transparent, and you're just showing up and you're sharing what you're doing with other people, that's what it is. I will never feel like I am trying to sell something, because I'm not. I'm trying to create a lifestyle for myself and for my family, and I hope that that's what comes across, is that this is a lifestyle for me, and that other people see the value in that. And so if I do that every day, and if I'm consistent, and if I show up, and if I do just that, then I have found I've never had to sell anything in my entire 10 months of doing this. So that has been something that's been super reassuring to me throughout this whole process. And it's not about being perfect, because my life is not perfect. It's messy, and it's chaotic sometimes, but the point is that I'm here, and I'm present, and I'm home. So that's what's important. Now, there are several different types of coaches, and it's very important to know that you have options, right? And so we have something called the discount coach, and the discount coach is someone who just loves the programs and products and what we have to offer, but they just don't want to pay full price, right? And so you can totally just hop on board and be a discount coach and get the discount and live out your own journey in your own time, in your own space, and get it for a discount. And then we have coaches. They're called a hobby coach. Now this could look a couple different ways, where let's say you really love your job but you love the products too, or you're just wanting to dabble with coaching. And so you just want to be a hobby coach, and so you work full time, and then you do this kind of for fun and in your spare time. And then there's coaches like myself, where we're business building coaches, where this is whether we're still working full time. We have so many business building coaches that work full time, and they're working towards being home. We have so many different professions that are working towards building a full-time coaching business, and we work this business as if it's our baby, and it's something that we really want to build and grow and build a thriving business. And so that can look a lot of different ways for people. So for me, what my day looks like, I work kind of like in the cracks of my day, right? And so I will get up before Cruz gets up, and I will work a little bit in the morning before he wakes up, whether that be getting my workout in, or listening to my PD, or answering emails. And then whenever he wakes up, he just kind of gets added into my day, and we do his whole routine. And then if he's playing, I might answer some more emails or do what I need to do. And then at nap time, I might plug back in and do a little bit more work. And then he gets up and we play, and we run errands, or we do we go about our day as we need to. And then if he takes another nap, I'll plug back in. And so that's the way my day looks. And sometimes if I haven't quite finished up what I feel like I need to, I'll work after he goes to bed. It just depends on what our day looks like. And sometimes our days are all kind of crazy. And so it just depends on what phase and what stage and season we're all in. And so my day looks a lot different. Some, full-time people who work full-time out of the home, if you have an hour, you can totally do this and work this business. So many coaches will get up in the morning before they go to work at like an hour earlier than they normally would wake up, and they bust out their work in an hour. If you have an hour, you can totally do this. Now, that being said, the more, the more work you do and the more time you put in, obviously, the more your business will grow and the faster, you'll get to where you want to go. And that's just, that's just the obvious statement. But you can totally do this in an hour a day. As long as you, focus and put your mind to it. If this is something you want to do, you have an hour, it's totally doable. For me, I just love what I do, so I work a lot more. Now, I'm going to scroll back through. If you guys have any questions as I'm finishing up here, please comment below, and then I will go through and try and answer some questions. Also, I'd like to say, if you're here because you're here, if another coach told you about this call, and they wanted you to see and hear what coaching was about, go ahead and tag them in here. And if you are one of my coaches and you're here, tag the people that you suggested to come watch, so that they you all know each other are here, and you guys can touch base here pretty soon after we're done. So let me see if I have any questions. Looked like everyone was doing a whole lot of listening, and that's great. I hope everyone had all their questions answered. Oh, thanks, Lacey. My sister's a hair genius. Okay, so it doesn't look like I have any questions. So if you do have any, let me know. You can go ahead and comment below. Thanks, Lindsay. You guys can go ahead and comment below, and I will check back on this video for the next couple days and go ahead and answer any questions you might have. Maybe if there's something that I missed out on or forgot to chat about, let me know. I'm more than happy to answer anything that you might have. If you want to reach out more personally, go ahead and email me. Just send me a quick message and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I'd love to chat with you a little bit more if you have any specific questions, if you're interested in learning more about coaching or what I do, if you think that it'd be a good fit for you. I would love to chat with you. So go ahead. And all you Instagrammers, let me see before we get off, let me make sure I don't have anything over here on Instagram. And on Instagram, for you guys, thanks for hanging with me. There's a really long live Instagram video, but you guys can go ahead and message me, because after this video is over, it's going to delete all your comments. So go ahead and just send me a quick message and we can answer any questions you might have. But anyhow, okay, hope you guys are having a good night. This got a little bit long, I'm sorry. But I'm gonna go head upstairs and hopefully little man is sleeping and try and unwind for the day. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Please let me know again if you have anything, any other questions, anything you want to know. I am an open book. I am here to share. I am here to pay it forward. So, oh, and I did want to mention, if you're like on the borderline, like, oh, I am interested in coaching, but I'm just not sure yet. You're just not quite there. I highly suggest, let's get you in a challenge group and get you started, because then you kind of feel like you have a basis for, starting and just getting your foot in the door, and maybe that'll make you feel a little bit more comfortable kind of seeing what this is all about, what a group looks like, what I do. And so that's totally an option too. So if you're just kind of like, oh, I am just not quite there yet, that's totally okay. It's all about timing for you and what's good for you. And so let's just get you in a group and get you started and getting to learn and know about these programs and these groups and what we do. So anyways, okay, message me if you guys have any questions, and message me just to say hi, what's up, because I'm always about talking to new people and just saying hey. So all right, hope y'all have a good night, and thanks again for bearing with me and showing up so late on a Thursday night. And okay, everyone have a good night. All right, thanks again. Bye bye.